For decades, Ron Howard appeared to embody stability in an industry known for turbulence. With his calm demeanor, steady career, and reputation for kindness, he seemed almost immune to the darker side of fame. From child actor to award-winning director, his journey looked like a story of continuous success. Yet beneath the warm smile and quiet professionalism, Howard carried emotional burdens that few people ever saw. Only later in life did he begin speaking openly about the pressures and regrets that followed him through decades in the spotlight. His story reveals that even the most admired public figures can carry hidden struggles shaped by childhood fame and responsibility. A childhood that began in front of the camera. Born on March 1st, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, Ronald William Howard entered a family already connected to the performing arts. His father, Rance Howard, was an actor, and his mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was also deeply involved in the entertainment world. Their household blended creativity with discipline, but it also carried financial uncertainty. Long before Ron could understand fame, he was already working in front of cameras. At just 18 months old, he appeared in the film Frontier Woman. What seemed like a harmless introduction to acting slowly became a lifelong path. By the time he could form full sentences, performing had already become part of his identity, shaping his childhood in ways few children ever experience. Growing up inside Hollywood's demanding world, in the late 1950s, the Howard family moved to California as television rapidly expanded across America. Opportunity was everywhere, but so were expectations. Young Ron's daily life quickly began to revolve around scripts, rehearsals, and studio schedules. Instead of spending afternoons playing freely with neighborhood children, he memorized dialogue and prepared for auditions. The environment was structured and professional, far removed from the carefree childhood most kids enjoyed. His father tried to create balance, guiding him carefully through the industry while maintaining strong values. Yet even with that protection, Ron later described his upbringing as a golden cage, secure and full of opportunity, but isolating, with responsibilities placed on him before he fully understood their meaning. Becoming America's favorite son. Yeah, everything changed in 1960 when the beloved television series, The Andy Griffith Show, premiered. At just 6 years old, Ron Howard became the character Opie Taylor, the sweet and innocent son of Sheriff Andy Taylor. Week after week, audiences across America watched him grow up on screen. Embracing him as a symbol of childhood innocence, the show's warmth and humor made it one of television's most cherished programs, and Ron became a familiar face in millions of homes. Yet behind the scenes, life was far less simple. Between filming scenes, he often studied alone in small studio rooms, hearing the distant sounds of children playing outside while he completed schoolwork between takes, a second wave of fame. Years later, Ron once again found himself at the center of American television when he starred in the hit sitcom Happy Days. Beginning in 1974, he played the clean-cut teenager Richie Cunningham, a character who quickly became a symbol of wholesome youth culture. Created by Gary Marshall, the series captured nostalgic visions of 1950s life and turned Ron into a household name all over again. However, the success came with a familiar challenge. As the show grew more popular, Ron felt increasingly confined by the character. While audiences loved Richie's innocence and reliability, the actor portraying him was growing older and eager to explore deeper, more complex stories. Feeling trapped by an on-screen identity? By the late 1970s, Ron Howard was in his early 20s, yet he was still portraying a teenager on television. The world outside Hollywood was changing rapidly, shaped by political tension, cultural shifts, and the lingering impact of the Vietnam War. Ron wanted the show to acknowledge those realities and once suggested a storyline that reflected the conflict overseas. The network rejected the idea, preferring to keep the series light and nostalgic. For Ron, the decision symbolized the limits of his role. He began feeling invisible within the character, as though his own growth had been frozen in time. The frustration pushed him to consider a bold change in direction. Discovering freedom behind the camera, the turning point arrived when filmmaker Roger Corman offered Ron an unusual opportunity. If he agreed to act in the film Eat My Dust, he would be allowed to direct his own project afterward. Ron immediately recognized the offer as a chance to reshape his career. That project became Grand Theft Auto, a fast-paced comedy he co-wrote with his father. Produced on a tiny budget, the film featured wild car chases and destroyed dozens of vehicles during filming. Despite the chaos, it was a financial success. For the first time, Ron experienced creative control, making decisions not just as a performer, but as the storyteller, guiding the entire production. Rising as one of Hollywood's most trusted directors, directing soon became Ron Howard's true passion. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, he built a reputation for thoughtful storytelling and meticulous preparation. Films such as Night Shift, Splash, Cocoon, Willow, and Parenthood demonstrated his ability to handle comedy, fantasy, and a heartfelt drama. Each project expanded his influence within the industry, earning the trust of major studios. Yet success also increased expectations. Producers and executives now relied on him to deliver films that were both artistically satisfying and commercially successful. With every new production, the pressure to meet those expectations grew heavier. The immense responsibility of major films. One of the defining challenges of his directing career arrived with the production of Apollo 13. Determined to honor the real astronauts involved in the historic space mission, Ron approached the project with extraordinary dedication. He studied every detail, consulted experts, and insisted on accuracy wherever possible. The film became a critical and commercial success, reinforcing his reputation as one of Hollywood's most reliable directors. However, the intense commitment required for such projects often left little time for personal reflection or rest. The pursuit of excellence that defined his professional life also contributed to a growing sense of exhaustion that he rarely discussed publicly. Reflection, family, and the meaning of success. As the decades passed, Ron Howard gradually began shifting his priorities. Through the company Imagine Entertainment, which he co-founded with producer Brian Grazer, he maintained creative influence while allowing more flexibility in his schedule. This change gave him the opportunity to focus more on family life and personal reflection. In later interviews, he admitted that the quiet periods between projects helped him realize something profound. For much of his life, he had been devoted to telling the stories of others, characters, historical figures, and fictional worlds, while rarely pausing to understand his own emotional journey. That realization encouraged him to confront feelings he had long kept private. Conclusion: a legacy beyond fame. Today, Ron Howard stands as one of the most respected figures in modern entertainment. From beloved child actor to acclaimed director, his career spans more than 6 decades, yet the story behind that success reveals a deeper truth about fame and personal growth. The pressures of early stardom, the struggle to escape limiting roles, and the relentless demands of Hollywood all left lasting marks on his life. By finally speaking openly about those experiences, he reminds audiences that success does not erase personal challenges. Instead, true strength often lies in acknowledging them. Howard's legacy is not only the films and shows he created, but also the honesty he has shown in reflecting on a lifetime lived in the spotlight.